That's why there's no more Jewish developers in housing.
All right, we're ready to get started. We're warm.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody, welcome back to another.
You gotta
Welcome
keep
back.
that in.
Oh, I hope it should be in. It should stay in. This whole fucked up opening should definitely stay in. Welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight we're going to be drinking something that Ryan is providing. So Ryan, show off the bottle and let's have Steven give his fucked up rating.
Willett Bourbon, baby. You know, one of the best out there.
Well, this is one of those where it's important to mention that I don't grade the bottle. I grade the label because this is
Right.
the bottle looks really cool. Obviously, this is going to stand out on the shelf. I know the Dan's talked about before. A lot of people are going to gravitate towards this one. Maybe make an infinity bottle out of it, something like that. A lot of people are going to want to keep this around. It just looks like a really cool. I know it's a pot still, but it looks like just a really cool like vase or something like that, right? It's something that you would see in like your dad's old liquor cabinet or something, right? It's like that kind of, Dan, you call them potions around Augie, right? It's that kind of thing. It's like alchemy's involved with this thing. So the bottle shape is really cool. The label itself is kind of underwhelming. I do like the little seal that's on the top part. And I know that like contributes to the overall sort of like pot still aesthetic. It looks cool.
Ryan, he means the.
Oh, you're talking about. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the little seal on the like
Yeah.
top piece right there
Yeah.
on the glass. And I think it looks good. This is not a bad looking label or anything, but it is very plain. It's very small. It's hard to put a label on this thing. And I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 5 because to me it's that's not the special part of this bottle. It just kind of is there. And really they let the bottle shape and everything sell the bottle for them, and you identify what it is from the bottle shape. The label's not doing a whole lot. So
And when I got into the business and going store to store, and this is a hard to get item. I don't know who distributes it up here, but it's none of the big players. It's a smaller distributor, and I'm not comparing it to Blanton's, but it comes out once a month, and you'll see it for 3 or 4 days, and then it's gone. So when I was just starting, I'm like, man, that bottle's awesome. I need to grab one. I bet it's an awesome bourbon, and I really thought it was going to be awesome.
I'll say that down here, I typically, have a tough time finding anything. We talk a lot about that. For whatever reason, the Willett Pot Still Reserve has always been around. Like every shop I go into around here seemingly has at least one in kind of like their more limited quantity / allocated ish or areas. There's usually always one around you could buy for close to MSRP or right at it.
And at the Maryville BP that's right around my house, I could go grab 4 bottles right now. Not even like any time. And I could grab the 4 that are on the shelf. I could go back tomorrow at 9 a.m. and grab 4 more bottles and keep doing that. And they would all be right at MSRP. Like exactly at MSRP. Now, hey Ryan, is that one of the bottles that I acquired for you and your dad?
I actually believe it is, yeah.
Okay. Because I know I grabbed one of those for you guys, but I didn't know if you had already drank that one. And
what, 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, at least, yeah. Yeah, I think it is 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah, look how much is still in. After sending you guys samples, too.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, okay, so yeah, it's Willett Pot Still Bourbon. It's about $50 is about what you should be paying for it. I have seen people like charging up to $70 for it because because it comes in a fancy bottle. That really does help sell it. Honest to God. I don't know what the age statement is. I know it used to, when it first came out, it had like a 8-year age statement on it,
I'm
but it
looking at a
doesn't
thing that
have one
says 8 to 10 right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I read too. Yeah,
still.
I don't know if it's on the. I mean, maybe this one. But when I looked online, like just kind of doing some research about Willett, it did say
Yeah.
8 to 10 years.
Okay. There is no mash bill that's not disclosed as far as I know. But yeah, so what do you say we now? I should put this out there right away that it is one of the most divisive bourbons on the planet. There is not a bourbon on the planet that I know of that draws more negative feedback than Willett Pot Still. But there is a group of people who absolutely fucking love it. That you ask them and they will say it is their favorite bourbon on the shelf. So let's make up our own. Steven, you've never had it, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
But you have heard the mixed reviews or only the negative reviews?
Mixed reviews. No, I've heard people say, I mean, I've seen like looking around on Drizzly and stuff like that. There's people that it gets a high rating, even though
It
there's
does.
plenty of other people who are really down on it. So
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and dive on in.
cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Right away, I don't like the nose. It just smells like something.
I think the nose is better than when you drink it.
So in other words, Steven, you're fucked. Like if you don't like the nose,
turn back now.
But yeah, you get some hints of like some cherry and citrus and a little bit of honey.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna drink it, and yeah.
You know the Hellraiser series in movies. It's a lot of like even the hardcore fans of it will tell you there's a million of them, and they're like, watch them until you don't like one, and then stop because they don't get any better. It is an entirely linear experience. So maybe I should just turn back now.
No, don't get it in your head. Let the bourbon tell you what you think of it.
Be the bourbon, dude.
I don't hate it. My first reaction is I don't hate it. It's just I would not pay $50 for this, which is unfortunate for its MSRP. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's my first reaction.
But would you pay $70 for it?
Now, if I'm just a guy who's never had it before and I live somewhere I can't get alcohol, maybe if I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it's a cool looking bottle. I'll give you that. I might do it once, but I don't know about after that. There's just no finish on it whatsoever. It's just gone.
Yeah, thin mouth. Like there's no Kentucky hug. You drink it. It almost has like a. There's just like a. It's like. It was like left out in the sun too long. It's losing its flavor. It already tastes really.
To me, it's musty. To me, it tastes musty.
Yeah. I feel like dishwater or something. Like
yes, it tastes musty or mildewy, but yeah, it's got some caramel to it. It's got some vanilla to it. It's got some honey to it.
Yeah.
But no finish. Like a little bit of rye on the finish, I suppose. If I'm really like trying to like really figure it out. But like, what's the proof on it? I forget what the proof is.
It's 47%, so it's 94.
94. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, it tastes like it's a higher proof. Like it's harsher than to me a 94 proof should be. It's just. I think you guys have heard me say it before. That my biggest issue with Willett is that it doesn't live up to how cool the fucking bottle is. If they put it in a really boring bottle and charged $20 less, I think people would be like, hey, this is pretty damn good. But when you see how cool that fucking bottle is, you expect it to be really, really good. And it just does not match the bottle in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
Yeah, when you have like a draw dropping, type bottle, Blanton's is a cool looking bottle. You see it, it sticks out. You drink it, the juice is good. This is very similar to that. You see, like, man, that really sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that industrial look that I'm always ripping on. It's its own bottle. A lot of whiskeys have kind of ripped off this shape of the bottle too over the years. And then you get it and you drink it, and it just, in my opinion, doesn't live up to the hype.
Yeah, just falls flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you see like you don't know any of the history or anything, and you just watch like the Cosby show for the first time. You're just like, wow, this guy's pretty funny. This guy's pretty cool. Seems like a nice dude.
What a great dad.
And then it just then there's kind of a
he's an amazing role model. Yeah.
I just think that I'm trying to think what this reminds me of, the taste, because we drank something during Rye Month that tasted a little similar to me. I can't remember what it was now. It was something during like No, it was something during a 3 blind rise or 4 blind rise that we did.
Okay, so 3 blind rise was the high proof, so that was Russell's Reserve Rye, Pikesville, and then I threw in that Montana rye.
I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I think it was that one. I think it was the Montana, like, random one.
Rough Rider, I think, is what it was.
Something like that. Whatever that one was, that one reminds me of the taste of this quite a bit. I don't know exactly what that is or what's going on there. Man, it'd be interesting if we found out that they sourced from Willett. But
I think Willett,
it's not a rye.
Well, it is sourced.
Willett sources everything, right?
Oh.
I don't think they source everything. They could. I might be wrong. For some reason, I thought that they sourced their bourbon, their Noah's Mill, and Rowan's Creek. But I thought their rye was house made. Maybe not.
Oh, is Noah's Mill? That's them?
Yeah.
All right, no clue. I've never had their rye, and people talk how good their rye is.
Their rye is very good.
I hear it's real good, but I'm so turned off by this that I would try the rye, but I'm in no hurry to try it. You know what I mean?
Next time you're at a restaurant, have a glass of Willett. They'll have it on hand.
Yeah. This is just not good, and it makes me not want to drink their other stuff.
Yeah, I was once in a wine and cheese place, and a guy I was looking, who was also looking at bourbon at the same time, he pointed to the Noah's Mill and the Willett Pot Still, and he goes, "Those are the worst bourbons I've had in my life." That's all he said to me, and then I was just like, "Yeah," and then like moved on. So just this random guy, he just was like, "Look, man, I just want you to know
they're terrible."
Yeah.
Well, I don't like Noah's Mill or Rowan's Creek. I don't like either of those two either. But I do like Willett Rye just fine. Their Purple Top Willett Rye is like, that's one of the top things on my list that I don't have and have never had. But their Purple Top Rye, I really, really want. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is.
Oh, let's hope the rye is better than this. Jesus Christ! Like,
you expect it couldn't be?
It's just not. It's just not a good bourbon. It's in any aspect. It's not. You taste it. It tastes like dishwater. Everyone tries to get it. At least up here, I mean, I think people are kind of figuring out that the juice isn't that great, and it's easier to get now. But years leading up to, 2020, this shit was hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out once a month. Oh, gotta grab me some Willett. What's the point? How stupid was I?
Well, I can answer that, Dan. Hold on.
Okay, Steven, you field it this time. I'll field it next time. Okay. Let's see, Ryan. You've got your wisdom. You got what? One was wisdom tooth pulled?
Yeah, just one. I got one other one pulled like 5 years ago. I should have just done them all, but at the time I didn't have any vacation time at work, so I didn't want to be out for extended period of time. Yeah. But Yeah, so we had like a wedding reception that Dan was kind enough to he
It's been
let
a
it for
busy
us.
couple. It's been a
It,
busy couple weeks since our last recording, right?
Yeah.
Like first of all, we typically record on Mondays, and this is Friday, so it's been almost a full 2 weeks since we've recorded. In that time, you've had your 1 year wedding anniversary that was a ceremony.
yeah, and
Like,
Dan officiated it here, and it was awesome. It was hilarious,
had
and
fun.
we had a great time, drank a lot, and
We were able to
then
crack open a bottle of Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered together. Went through
Yeah,
about half of that.
yeah.
so we did that, and then I woke up the next day pretty hungover and was sitting there. I'm like, God, my tooth kind of hurts in the back. I'm like, it's probably a wisdom tooth, but the pain will go away. It usually always does with shit like that until it doesn't. And that was this time. So we get lunch, we go to Schooner's, get lunch, we get on the road. About halfway up to Chicago, I'm like, I am in a lot of pain. Like, this is starting to really hurt. So I get home, nothing's getting better. I wake up the next morning in excruciating amount of pain. I call off work, and then I'm just calling oral surgeon after oral surgeon, dentist after dentist. They're like, sorry, we can get you in on Thursday or Friday. Like, but we're gonna have to do a consultation first. I'm like, this is past that. I'm not doing a consultation. If I come in there, you're taking my goddamn tooth out. And they're like, well, we got to do the consultation. That's how it works. Like,
They're like, we do not
hang up.
negotiate with terrorists, sir.
Yeah. So I call this one place, a town, like a town or two over from here. Shout out Dr. Desai because he's a lifesaver. But they're like, we can get you in on Thursday. And at the time, it was the earliest anyone could get me in. And they're like, well, if someone cancels on Tuesday, we'll get you in. But, there's no guarantees. They call me like the end of business Monday. They're like, we got an appointment at 1:30. Do you want it? I'm like, yes, please. Yes, I'm in so much pain, So I go there thinking it's going to be like an hour's, like, yeah, I thought it was going to take forever. He gives me a bunch of nitrous, which honestly, because I drink a lot, didn't have any effect on me. And then gave me like 3 shots of Novocaine, pulled the tooth out in like 10 minutes. I was in the office for like 40 minutes. So 3 days of pain. And I
Yeah,
was in there in
for
less than
10
an hour.
minutes. Yeah.
I'm like, this is insane. But gave me some pain pills, some antibiotics. I'm boozing on the antibiotics because that's a fucking folk tale. Don't let people tell you can't drink while on antibiotics. And now everything's healing up and I'm good. But goddamn, I was in pain. I feel so helpless with tooth pain. There's nothing you can do,
No, tooth pain sucks.
And then after, like, they said I can't eat popcorn for 6 weeks, can't drink out of a straw. I got to do the saltwater rinse.
Mm-hmm.
Just a pain in the ass. But I'm so thankful it started happening on Sunday and not Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I would have added an extra day.
Yeah, and the wedding would have been ruined.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, we really lucked out with the wedding because it was like perfect weather. Your tooth wasn't fucked. It was like everything. The stars aligned.
No, but it was funny. At the end of the night, we went out boozing. We were at Pub 2, this shitty college bar in like Illinois State campus, and Tyler was out, and he's like, "Yeah, I noticed yesterday you kept rubbing like the side of your jaw, like right here, like this." But I was drunk. I don't remember it, but it probably did start Saturday after the wedding. But I was already drunk at that point, not noticing it. Yeah, he started The Sopranos like 10 days ago, and he's already done.
Oh, by the way, that's how he
That
found
fast?
out about your wedding and
Oh,
when
yeah.
to be there because he was watching The Sopranos, brought something up to you in a text, and he goes. Then Ryan goes, oh, by the way, tomorrow you might want to show up at this time to see me get married.
and then he like Dylan, our buddy Dylan came, like, he came right at 3. He's like, why didn't you tell Dylan? I'm like, dude, I was hammered. I only wanted like not a lot of people here, and a bunch of people showed up at 2. So evidently my parents spilled the beans to a bunch of people,
Well, there were a shitload of people there at 1 whenever I showed up.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on.
Like, I showed up at 1 and there was already like 30 people there.
I envisioned like 15, 20 people at the thing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20. There was probably 50, 60 people standing.
Yeah.
Looking. So I should have just invited everyone to it. I just kind of, it was so shotgun. We didn't, prepare before or anything like that. And the DJs shit got all fucked up.
Oh, that was perfect.
But
that was perfect.
I was laughing my ass off, and I was like, his name's Donnie. I was like, Donnie, you're fucking this up, dude. Pretend to get all mad, and I don't care.
You and I made eye contact at one point, Ryan, whenever that, and we were just laughing. We just did that thing where we just like, we both noticed like this is so fucked up.
Yeah. He was like, the Spotify, it was working. I don't know what happened.
One of the things that I laughed really hard about was like in the preparation, right? I was talking to you and like, okay, so what, where are we going to stand? What's going to happen? And you kind of pointed it out. And then I checked with Maheen because let's be honest, I don't trust you. And she's like, oh, the only thing we really talked about was that you're going to stand at the very top. And then Ryan and I are going to stand on one step down. And then Katie and Matt are going to be like a couple steps further down. And Maheen goes, that's the only thing that we actually talked about and practiced was where we would stand. That Dan would be at the very top, and then you guys would be one step down, so on and so forth. I said, okay, cool. So I go up and I take my spot. You come up, and where do you go? Right up to the fucking top. And I just laughed. Not because I gave a shit, because I didn't. But my thought was the only thing he and Maheen actually talked about, he just fucked up.
Yeah, I was like, this step's too small. I'm just gonna stand up
here. But again, I don't care. I couldn't have cared less. It was just funny for that reason.
Yeah. Do you like this Jim Beam better than Jim Beam White?
Well, what do you say we go ahead and rate them? Let's get to the ratings.
Let's do it.
And I'll just go first because you asked me first. I do, but barely. Just barely. It's a 5.2. And that's because I'm not taking price into consideration. If I took the fact that this is a $50 bottle compared to a $15 bottle of Jim Beam White, I will grab happily 3 bottles of Jim Beam White, save myself the $5 and leave this one sitting on the shelf. So which if I go into the store, which am I more likely to buy? Jim Beam White all day long. But if you're sending me free whiskey to drink, you can send me this. I'll like it marginally better than the Jim Beam White. That's where I come up with 5.2.
All right. That's fair.
To me, I can barely get past the smell on this. I really don't find it pleasant. It smells like basement to me. It's
mildew.
It just smells like, so much of, taste is smell. And to me, this is very pungent. So anytime I'm taking a drink of it, I really don't think that the taste is like all that bad. It's just kind of underwhelming is kind of like what you guys were saying. And I agree with that. I don't think that it deserves to be on like the worst bourbon tonight, but it's just, I don't like the smell. I smell it consistently throughout drinking it. And then when I taste it, I don't like the taste that much. And then there's no finish whatsoever. It's just gone. So I'm going to give it a 5.1. I was planning on giving a 5.1 before with the logic that honestly, it's one of those things that like any given moment or any given day, if you would tell me if I would rather have that or rather have Jim Beam White, I could say either one, which is not good for the Willett because like you said, Dan, it is far and away more expensive. So 5.1, but I would still, I would probably never buy this, and I would buy Jim Beam White Label 10 times over instead.
All right, I'm just going to start off. I'm totally repulsed by this bourbon. I do not think it's good. I think the price is way too high. The quality, the juice in the bottle is way too low. There's just too many factors going against it. I've had dishwater that tastes better. I'm going a full point lower than Dan at 4.2. This is the most disappointing bourbon in America that sells the way it does. There's nothing good about it besides how cool the bottle looks. That's the only redeeming quality. That's the only reason why it sells. You can talk the world up on their rye. That's fine. The rye's hard to get. This is a bad bourbon. This is a bad bourbon. And for those guys who like it, come up to Tinley Park and we can talk, because you're wrong. You're wrong. You probably like Dungeons and Dragons. It's terrible. It is. I just don't like it. I remember the first time I had this, I had so much hope. So much hope. The coolest bottle I've ever seen. People use it for an infinity bottle. It's got to be great. The infinity bottle, pouring all that different bourbon in, which is never usually good, is probably better than that juice. 4.2.
Fair enough. I think you could. Oh, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, I think like you gave it a similar rating to what we were giving Jameson, and I think to me this is like, it kind of tastes and smells like an Irish whiskey or a Scotch or something like that.
I'd take Jameson over this. I think I gave Jameson a 4.5.
I think I gave Jameson a 5.0. I said that it was exactly on par with Jim Beam, just in a different way. I think there are YouTube videos out there on how to turn a Willett Pot Still bourbon bottle into a bong, by the way. So you should take a look at that.
Ryan's more of an opioids guy, Dan, but
I
thanks all the
forgot.
same.
Can you get some fentanyl into this bottle?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I'm on those fuckers at Walgreens shorted me like 8 pills on my amoxicillin.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in there. I'm like, you guys, I'm supposed to have 21 pills. I have 13. I mean, I only have like 3 left in here, but I'm 8 short. I have 3 more days to go. They're like, oh, we're sorry. And then they just filled it for me real quick. But yeah, we'll check on the phone. They're like, yeah, we'll check our count and make sure it wasn't us. I'm like, okay. Like, I fucking dropped a bunch of pills and not noticed.
I'm black marketing amoxicillin.
Yeah. So I went in there. I'm like, I called about this. They're like, oh, they filled it real quick. They even bring up the count. I'm like, yeah, fuckers.
They have access to your medical records. They know you got vaccinated at CVS, and they're pissed, dude.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.